What you see here is another vintage Funai VCR. This one is under the Symphonic brand, which is still with a Funai, of course. It's like Panasonic and Quasar during that time. And so far this works near perfectly, except the belts are very loose. So some modes it kind of gets stuck on, so we're going to be changing belts, but otherwise in fantastic condition. So, example, look how flippity floppity this is. I know this was slipping a little bit, but so really do that. All the grease still appears to be plentiful and good, so we don't have to worry about that on this one. Let's begin. Okay, I've already taken and put grease on this bottom bearing here for the flywheel. Now, one thing, just like any compact cassette transports, the external motor, we're also going to lubricate that, and I'll show you how simple it is on these to take apart and do that in just a minute. Now, the first thing we're going to do is take off this back plate here, and that is not the back bearing. That is actually where the Hall effect sensor is to determine the speed control. So what you want to do, there's two right in the middle of the video.
I've never done that before.
There's two notches where you can see it'll fit like a screwdriver perfectly right here and right here. And you can very gently pry this apart like so. Just push in, push down hard and pull. You see it moved already. And then push in, push down, pull. And it comes off like so. And then show up that this is a Sankyo motor, good motor. This might be glued on, yep. Now, it may be hard to see, but we're just gonna put a drop of oil down in there. The thing is, right now we're fighting age. This machine is from 1988, so we're talking 33 years and never been serviced. Yeah, it works fine, but just like on cassettes, it may cause wow and flutter, you know, lack of lubrication. This dropper's too big. See if I can. There we go. So right now I'm just going to slide this off this piece here. So yeah, now we can see the back bearing. Got a little eyeglass or eyedropper. So put a drop of oil on it, just like so. And then we'll just slip this back on. There we go. Nice flush with it. Sticking out just a hair. And now, just in case it does bump this nylon piece right here, we'll just put a dab of grease on that. It's not an actual bearing, but it's just, I've noticed that it requires a little bit of grease on these. There. Now I'll just smear it around like so. And now put this back on. That's not, this is a little tricky part, but what I do is I'm going to take a pair of channel locks, put them up, line everything up. Actually, I need to open up all the way. And pretty much right where I pry it off originally, and do this on the very outermost edge. And then you just push down. I'm sorry about that. With the capstan outboard motor, the memory got full on the phone. That is so redneck.
It's not even a Trans Am. It's a Trans Am front end attached to a Dodge Magnum station wagon, which is all-wheel drive.
That is so stupid.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the subject here. New belts. Oh, I need to get my belt puller tool. That thing. Okay, it should be this belt here, I think. Can't remember which size is which. Yeah, it's this one. This one was smaller. Looks like I gotta replenish my belt stock for flat belts now. Taking them off is the same thing, but much faster. But just to show you how easy things are. Okay, we got that on. Now we can put on the, I'll dump the flat belts. Square belts. Need my little bag of custom sizes. Now, I've been restoring so many that I need to order some of these super big, or what's going on down there? The thing wanted to fall over because I took everything out. But I'm running out of the belts that are going to be a little expensive, so I have to plan those accordingly. So this one, use the belt puller to help me with this. One thing to do is always see, it should be perfectly like that. Come around. Yep, it's not twisted or anything. That's a big problem, is when the belt twists like that. They're no longer flippity floppies. And then you got two more belts, which were this one and this one. They're slightly different sizes. I gotta figure which one is which here. I want it to be a little tighter, so this is that one. I believe that one goes from there to there. Actually, I grabbed the wrong one. I was grabbing out of the right container for that one. Too large.
Unacceptable.
Is this the same size? No, it's slightly bigger. That one should coincide with that one, I would think. Yeah. If I did this right. Yeah, they're slightly different. This is the smaller, this is the larger. Yeah, since belts are now starting to become a little harder, I just bought one of those big belt kits and sorted them. Took a while, but I got them all sorted accordingly. Bought a bunch of them. amount of stuff we restore and needed. I need to find, there's a flat belt kit somewhere. Okay, so let's see, this is the larger one. So, and because this has a fatter pulley, I believe it goes here. Perfect. And then we take this guy, slip him down there through the crack. There we go. And take, and let's see, this is spring loaded, so it goes on the bottom part of the pulley groove up the top. Did I get it? It's perfectly lined up, and it is, and it's perfectly tight. Like I said, it's pretty cool. It when it goes to eject, or in the position it's in now, it pushes up against this belt and uses this motor to eject the tape, so eliminating the need for a secondary motor. So yeah, I forgot to mention, this is a second generation Shintom mechanism. Also extremely reliable. The mode switch is under this cam gear here, all through this circuit board, and connects back here. That said, you'll never find one of these with a bad mode switch, or dirty, whatever, unlike the newer Funais, you know, their own kind. And someone's probably gonna say, why don't you just get a Shintom VCR? Not the same thing. The only thing in common between this and a Shintom is the transport. Everything else, the electronics and the design, it's all Funai, and the way they process the signals and the way it operates is just phenomenal. I have a Shintom VCR, and it is very good, but this exceeds it, excels it. That's why I'm fascinated by it. Okay, so you saw how quickly that went past. That's all you have to do, change the belts. There's nothing else to do. And all the original grease is still good, so I'm not gonna bother with that on this one. So now we can flip this over. And I have not cleaned the tape path yet, but what we'll do first, do a little bit of lubrication up top. Really, that's about it for lubrication. The stuff that makes constantly turns is going to need it, like the capstan here. If I can get it on there. And I'll put a drop in the pinch roller. Did I get it in there? Yeah. And what else has a lot? Oh, the spindles. Put a drop in. I have a service manual for one of these, and it says about every 1,000 hours of use. Obviously, if there's nothing wrong, it's never going to get done, but dang it, I gotta put more in there. I just have zoom spout in an eyedropper here, so that's all that's going on. That. And that should do it for that. Need to wipe off any excess that happened there. Like I said, this worked using my test jig, but belts are very loose. Like, I think in one of the modos having a little hard time getting started because it was slipping. Now we'll just put the test jig in and just see how everything performs. Got to turn it on. Forgot the lights are going to interfere with it. And why aren't you moving? Oh, it might help if I plug the motor back in. Remember from earlier when I lubricated this, why I never plugged it in, so it ain't going to do anything. Turn the lights back on. We'll see if it'll do anything. I'm gonna have to turn this one off because the lights will interfere with the end sensor. All right, let's try this again. There we go. So it went right into play.
I love how you farted in the middle of that.
Shut up. No one likes you. Rewind search. Do that nice and quick before it faults out. Alright, now we'll do forward search. That works. Rewind search. Play. Now I'm going to purposely hit rewind search and let it fault out. Make sure it does fault out. There it goes. Okay, perfect. So we know the Hall effect sensor in this thing's working. Now we'll go back into play. Let's check pause. And then play back again. Stop. Notice how the loading arms are nice and smooth, so the the grease is still fine. And now we'll demonstrate fast forward and rewind. Nice and strong. Nice good stop. Rewind, and I'll let it fault out. Okay, good, that worked. Make sure. And then all that's left is eject, which is nice and fast and strong. So that's that part completed. The very last thing I'm gonna do are video heads. So next, I am going to work on the front panel, which is just all the switches and contacts, get deoxided, clean up the VFD, and then we can put the bottom on. And then we'll do the tape heads and wrap it up. Alright, and just as a precautionary measure, I am going to spray all the front panel buttons with deoxit. Alright, I turn it like this so the deoxit has to drip down into the VCR, or into the controls I should say. I also did the switches and the two potentiometers here. So next step now, we're going to novice the VFD and the clear window here, as well as the front panel bezel, and start reassembling it. Yeah, you can clearly see how hazed up that is, but there's also maybe another reason why it's doing it, and I'll show in a second. And I waited until now on purpose for this moment. Bottom cover back on, which is also a shield, grounded and all. And now the last step, we're going to do some head cleaning and tape path cleaning. I like to use these chamois swab sticks and they're very gentle on video heads, and they get a lot of the residue off. First, we're going to do the impedance roller. And we have the race head here. Not too much off of there. Audio and control head and audio race head.
That always makes people go away. Yeah, change this out to pull it.
We'll clean the tape guides as well. Never use a tape head cleaning cassette. Those are garbage. If anything, those will ruin your heads. And they don't clean all this either. Clean those rollers just in case. Alright, so it wasn't too bad. There's hardly anything on here. Now we'll do the head.
Yep.
Place it up against there, and I just rotate it around. Yeah, a little bit. It's not too dirty actually. Now I'm going to go the opposite direction. Very little. And then we'll just clean the stationary part of the drum. In case there's anything built up on that. And now the next part is the capstan. I saved that because that's gonna, if it's never been cleaned,
Not
this
interested
will
in that.
take a while to scrub off. I'll also show a trick right after this. Just like in a is it alcohol? Very quiet. Put it in fast forward, and I'll just do this.
Alright, cool. I'm just gonna stand here and be quiet and watch. That's what I usually do. Yep.
And next we'll take care of the grungy part, probably, is the pinch roller. May or may not need the rubber rejuve. We'll find out how it turns out. This mustn't be a high hour unit. It doesn't have a shiny layer on the pinch roller. Though it looks like it's been plugged in a while, the VFDs, compared to the Funai unit I got right behind me, it's much brighter, so. Yeah, that's all that came off the pinch roller. The pinch roller itself looks good. No cracks. I put a drop of oil in the bearing for it. Yeah, that pinch roller is relatively clean. Okay, so the tape path has been successfully cleaned. One last thing I like to do is take a tape head demagnetizer to the audio head. This fell off. Now it's vibrating. And now for the last part, I'm going to run the tape through its paces in actual tape and make sure everything's working correctly. Mainly the brakes is what I'm concerned about, because a lot of times people don't test that. The tape will slightly spool out in the machine, and when you go to eject it, it ate your tape for breakfast. Okay, insert tape. This is one of my test tapes I used on VCRs. So far everything's nice and quiet. Now what you want to do, go around and look at all the tape paths. So we'll rotate this sideways. The first thing we're going to do is check for the alignment of the tape on the tape path for just like the guide posts, guide arms, and like the impedance roller. It uses a small impedance roller here. It might look like it's riding up too high, but it's actually not, and it's there for, again, for a reason. Example, if I were to do rewind search, notice how it'll go down a little bit. But you don't want it to go down and then start wrinkling itself on the bottom. So it has to have a little leeway there, but it won't hurt the tape any. Go back into play mode here. So that's perfectly normal. It's not hurting the tape any. That's adjusted correctly. Check fast forward. Stays in the center spot. And on these machines, the only place you want to look is that guide post right after the audio and control heads. It's a little hard to see. Just make sure it's right in between and not too high or too low, so it's not wrinkling the tape. And it's not. It's perfect. And on a lot of VCRs, when you go into rewind search, that's a big issue, especially for mode switches. And these never have a problem, but watch. Yeah. It properly goes into rewind search. So check that works. We're good. It threads the tape correctly. Now the big thing, I was talking about the brakes. Go fast forward. Now you see the tape right there. Press stop. It should not spool out into the machine.
Sure.
And also if you look up here, you can see the tape is perfectly taut. If it's not, then you gotta fix your brakes on it. Otherwise, it may not do it. It may not do it all the time, but you may end up getting your tape eaten because it's spooled out into the machine. Also, we'll check rewind. And we'll hit stop. perfectly taut. So
I
we're good
definitely
there.
wish you the best.
Now we're gonna try full rewind and full fast forward
Sure, no problem.
to make sure the end sensors work. That's why I'm turning the light off. First we'll do rewind. Oh yeah, the jumpiness in the on the reel, that's the tape itself. This tape
Well,
is
that's fine.
good enough as a test tape. So just ignore all that.
Oh yeah.
That is working correctly. Now we'll try fast forward. That's the one that's least used because it's the end of the tape, but we'll try it just to make sure. So we're back when this tape's done winding. Okay, we're at the end of the tape. So this is to make sure the end tape sensor is functioning. Yep. If it didn't, it would have threaded it, pulled all the way out to the end and sat there, then faulted out. It did not do that. Now we'll try it in playback to make sure that's working correctly. Just look at it as it comes out of the machine. And it works. Now I got it up here for the final test and demonstration. There's a couple more things I like to do. Make sure the tape head azimuth on the audio head is perfect, and it actually was, and I put a drop of Loctite on it. Just like a cassette tape deck, just, you know, adjust it for the clearest highs and the loudest audio, and you're good to go. The other adjustment would have been the tape head guides. If you ever get a VCR, that no matter where you put the tracking, you always have tracking errors, especially on extended play. You need to adjust your tape head path. This one seems to be perfect as is, so nothing to be done. First impressions of this one. Now, the one below it ran from, I believe, 86 to early 88, where this one appears to started in 88 through early 89, and it uses the second gen Shintom mechanism and different electronics. This one's even better than the 5400 below it. Just playing back that tape that was recorded on that Zenith VRA 423 with the so-so picture quality, even better. One thing I'll show real quick before we demonstrate. This is the original remote that came with the VCR in almost like new condition. Oh yeah, made in Japan. One thing about this machine, it does not have on-screen display. Again, options, because this is back when VCRs were still expensive. But it does have some other unique features we'll go over soon. For now, we'll start off this tape again with the gummy bears. Hit play.
Dashing and daring, courageous and true, faithful and friendly, with stories to share. The forest they sing out in chorus, marching along as their song fills the air. Gummy bears, bouncing here and there and everywhere. Hiding and trembling beyond compare. They are the gummy bears. Magic and mystery are part of their history, along with the secret of gummy bears.
Might be hard to see because I got my light on the camera, but this is an extended play tape. There we go. It's kind of cool because it also lights up all the segments on there. Let me turn that off. There we go. And that's one big important thing right there about doing this. Listen, for the audio, there's no flutter at all. It's nice and clear. And like I said, this is even better than 5400 I was ranting and raving about in the previous video. So, forward search, a little bit different on extended play, but It does do the 15x. Like that. Play. Like I said, this is an extended play tape. It is rather noisy, actually, because that Zenith Gold Star was crap. Anyways, seems like the non-on-screen display models did a 14:4 program, whereas like the on-screen display models did the 16:14. Yes, I got a piece of Scotch tape there because that was part of the shipping damage, and I can't fix it. It sometimes wants to flop down. But someday maybe I'll get another door for it. This one does have sharpness control for the picture, tracking, channel memory setup. Let me hit stop for a minute and I'll mute it. So tape speed, put standard play, long play, extended play. See. And let's see, press select to set the clock. So today is Saturday at 9 something. Let's just, well, hold on, I got another clock here somewhere. Oh, the phone's dead. Damn it. Let's just say it's 9:05. This is just a demonstration. And then you can go into program check and you can set your programs through that. Timer record button next to it. Channel memory. It's on cable TV. If you were to flick this switch on and hit channel up, auto programming. And if this was the on-screen display model, it would say P and then the channel number on the TV. So I'm going to stop this now. No need for it to go through the entire thing. But yeah, there's a channel memory switch right there. And besides, it ain't going to find anything, as you can see. Compared to the Funai versions, Funai like to put like the clock counter, reset, memory, and all that behind the closed door, where Symphonic brought it out to the front. Like I said, Symphonic and Funai are the same. I treat them as the same because it's like Panasonic and Quasar, just differently laid out. Now we'll get, okay, we did the gummy bears thing. Let's try a standard play tape. I want to put the cover and stuff back on because we're done, but I had, and it's probably a lot of us have had, Funai products of the 90s that are total crap. Me, no exception. I had a 1996 Symphonic SE436D hi-fi stereo model, and that thing was total crap, okay? First thing, it started going, well, first thing out of the box, it had terrible picture quality, smeary and ghosting. Never had a problem with the mode switch, oddly, but the tape speed was irregular linearly. It would every few seconds it would jump. It would be playing and boop, boop. And if you have a hi-fi tape, it wasn't so noticeable, but you could see the picture jump a little bit. That was one of the first things that went wrong with it. I think around 2000, it started having problems with the brakes. And then I put it away after something went wrong with it, because then the brakes wouldn't activate and it would just spool out the tape into the machine. And those don't use a solenoid or anything good. Last time I used it was in 2010 in this tape I'm going to show you. New Year's Eve 2010 going into 2011 to be exact. Because right after that, the very next day or so, I think I just packed it up and threw it away. Because it was crap. I did that because it had a 15-year calendar that ran from 1996 through 2010, and I kept it long enough just to see that before it was back to 1996, and I got rid of it. It was a piece of shit. That's why I'm trying to say these pre-1992 Funai VCRs are, one, not very common, and two, absolutely phenomenal performers and very well built machines. The earlier ones of the first gen Shinton mechanism were absolute tanks because they were extremely overbuilt. But yeah, this night and day. So let's go ahead and try that. So let's begin. This has a very quiet loading motor. is.
December 31st, 2010.
I'm actually recording to that VCR through line level in. I still have that one. That's my camera doing it. That's was given to me as my grandmother's Sears Gold Star from 1988. Back when I still had a droid. So this is standard play. Yes, pretty much everything you see in this picture I still have and use. Just I'm probably washing out the camera.
Mystery tapes.
Now you see that
sorting
tracking error there
the original copies
on the TV. That's from needing alignment on extended plays. So.
This VHS tape will be stored with the Symphonic.
No, it wasn't. I got pissed and threw it out.
For a while. Currently, as of right now, the main problem with the Symphonic is, it works perfect.
No, don't.
However, the braking isn't. It did that almost 4 years ago. Like it pressed rewind, fast forward, and when it hit the brake, there's like a delay, like a 1 second delay before the brake engages, so the tape unspools. I don't know if it's electronic or mechanical. I haven't got the part yet. That aside, everything
I think
else
that's why I threw it out.
Including the mode switch. I'm recording right now. I'm recording this because this VCR, its calendar is going to run out very soon. In less than 25 minutes, this calendar, which only goes up to 2010, I can no longer do timer programming with this machine.
You can. You just gotta know which year lines up with which day of the
So
week.
we're recording. The gateway's out.
Yes, that was my first computer. I'm gonna be doing a video on that shortly because it's gonna turn 21 in a few months.
In the land of
TV.
I can't get it to track right on this.
That's because it needs aligned.
VCR is real finicky with extended play tapes.
And that's what you'll notice on a lot of slower speed tapes. That may happen. That means you gotta do your alignment.
Oh, I got the steady shot on. That's actually cool.
But yeah, that's Symphonic there. The picture isn't as sharp as what it should be. A little bit of noisy for being fed a clean signal from a mini DV camera. So that VCR was crap.
Cap or a transistor failing or what?
I don't even know what I'm talking about right there.
Unrestored.
Oh no, and that TV there, it just needed the CRT, that rejuvenated, but a clean cycle on the guns, and that fixed the grayscale shifting. That's the XL100 I just restored recently, and there's the old furnace.
It's so weird because I got a high def channel. Nothing weird.
So.
Standard def.
It has to be Leah playing.
It took me almost 15 years, but I got this TV correct now.
That was a GE Thompson.
It was a grayscale.
That thing was crap. I got rid of it. Yeah, my portacolor still got that thing. I need to pull it out, recap it, and do it because I don't want the line cap to blow when I plug it in. It used to be, now that's where the server closet is. Yep.
She is 9 months old.
Leah.
Leah.
Hey, Leah, where are you at?
Yo.
Yo, feline. What up? You were on TV at 9 months old. So, let's see, that would make her 10 years, 10 years, 11 months old now. Hey, Leah.
Keep in mind, Brothers TV version 2, Road Rovers and SWAT Cats, the Bugs Bunny Road in a movie, which I'm gonna watch, and Conker's Back version, exclusively on this camera. And this tape was nearly, actually now it's in its entirety,
I never did a video, and I have the original remote for this TV. Look how big it is. It has the same buttons as on the front. It's real nice.
Picture quality, it's razor sharp. But yeah, but it just doesn't like certain extended play tapes.
Because it needs an alignment. I know I keep saying that. I just think it's funny. But as time goes on and you work on stuff, you gain knowledge, and that's what happens. You figure, what, these symptoms indicate this.
And good linear audio.
Yeah, and picture jumping like it was doing there. Another sign you need your head's aligned.
Yeah, I got this stuff kind of
Or take path to the head's aligned. You know what I mean.
Really forgot. Which is a good thing.
Sorry if it looks washed out. I did the manual lock on it, but it just kind of washing out. I'm gonna stop this soon because it was really just me playing around New Year's Eve 2010 with a tape I recorded in 1999 on that Symphonic SE436D.
Limited to how much wire I got. But
Jeez,
you
Leah.
can see over here the box fans. All the cable I got right there. And
I think I'm gonna stop it here because I'm. There we go. All right, stop it here. All right, so now stop. Nice solid clunks. Very responsive. And now for the final test. We're going to do some recording off of live TV. Converter box. This is DTV over the air. Yagi antenna. Blah, blah, blah. Cozy TV. Set the standard play. Line level inputs. This VCR does not have a dedicated AV and tuner switch, possibly because it's just like, you know, different tier level. It doesn't have on-screen display, one level under, but it does have automatic switching line level inputs, because if there's no signal, even though you still have it plugged in, it'll switch back to tuner. And then if you have signal, then it'll switch over, unlike some VCRs where as soon as you connect something to the line level inputs, it switches over to AV in and stays there, and you can't go back to tuner unless you unplug it. So that's a pretty nice touch. So we're going to do record on standard play. Starting right here, and we'll come back to that and see how it performs. Okay, right here on the tape counter, I am switching to extended play. Like so, and I'm paused.
See, he wanted the judge to understand. He tried to explain to him that the judge.
And we'll let that go for a bit, rewind, and see the results.
Because he was.
All right, I'm gonna stop it here.
What are you talking about?
Do a rewind.
I am listening. We'll do that.
Okay, do a reset. Play.
That's great.
And let's see what happens.
What is it? If Mama made it was your idea. No, thank you. I really am not hungry.
Well, once again, fantastic linear audio at the right audio level.
What's the matter? Maybe I will have some more coffee. Oh, no. Stay there. I'll get it.
Focus in on the TV here. Hang on. There we go.
There's only one thing I don't get, and I'll admit it's bothering me. Why
had Connolly tossed that gun so close to the house. That was a very stupid thing to do. You know, this stuff is pretty good. Show you what I've been missing. Ain't my closed mind.
Doesn't that come with the job, Columbo? Policeman needs a narrow, straight-ahead mentality. You know, no room for motive or extenuating circumstances.
Well,
It's
now,
about to
when it
switch
comes
over.
to first-degree murder, my feeling is there are no extenuating circumstances.
Understand, he tried to explain to him that...
Well, the judge did understand, ma'am. That's why your husband got a reduced sentence. Because he was
It's
mentally
pretty
unstable.
damn close.
My husband was not mentally unstable. You have got no right to say that.
Well, excuse me, ma'am. I mean, that's not my judgment. I'm just bringing out what was in the trial. It's getting very warm in here. I think I'm gonna turn
Yeah,
down
I would
that
say it's on par
thermostat.
with the 5400 down there, right below it.
That judge was a sick, prejudiced old man. I hated the sight of him. I hated the sound of his voice.
So once again, another phenomenal performer. And for watching Technology Connections, the phone, wow, 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 wow.
Columbo. Oh, hi, Benny. What? Poison? What kind of poison?
It should drop out. There we go. That sounds just the TV. Again, it's real sensitive because, again, early days of VCRs and all. So, that's the demonstration of the 1988 Symphonic Model 7000. Yet another fantastic performer. And just a year or two newer than the 5400. Second gen Shintom mechanism, but again, another excellently built machine. The models I have obtained right now are like the common type models, the ones you typically see. Once I get all those, I'm going to try shooting for the more rarer models that like here, this will be you'll see it's almost, I'm still shooting video on it. It's a Funai, it's a VCP, and it's a 3-speed, and that one has the first gen Shintom mechanism, and it weighs a ton. It has huge heat sinks in it. This also has the very first Shintom mechanism ever made, top loader. But yeah, so I'll be getting to these soon, but yeah, there's the tank. That little thing is a brick, and I'll tell you that in the next video. But in the meantime, we'll wrap this video up. Let's do a rewind. Eject. Beautiful. Thanks for watching. Hit like and subscribe.